for Jessica Alaniz.
Y'all keep it going for David. He cracked the code on getting to be in a room full of women. You just have to put on a show and the women will come. That's how it works. If you are ever wondering like how they put lineups together, they do start with the shortest and then go up from there. So I think we're gonna end with like 5, 6. I think that's how it works out for women. My name is Jessica. I'm not as impressed with that name just as much as you guys are. There's too many of us. There's too many Jessicas running around in the world. Like, I'm sure statistically you've met at least 5 today, right? You're like, oh, my sister, my cousin, like a person I work with, my favorite person who works at Target, like they're all named Jessica. Too many of us around. And there you go, there's one. And it's hard to love your name when it's the name of everybody else you've ever met. Like people already have expectations of what Jessica is. Like you say Jessica, they're like, oh, that white girl who can't handle gluten, that one, right? They're like, Jessica, the little dog who hikes Running Canyon, is that her? It gets annoying. Being named Jessica, there's too many of us around. I didn't realize, though, that so many people, just hearing my name Jessica, and I guess seeing how I look, assumed I was white until I moved to LA. I moved here and people just, like, started talking to me about their chakras. I was like, did you mean chanclas? What are you talking about? Alright, I live in LA, so I said, like, oh, I like Los Feliz. And they're like, oh, babe, it's Los Feliz. Like, don't try so hard. They don't care. Is me. What? I care. It's kind of frustrating because I am Mexican, but I look just like entitled, you know? And so I've got to like up my Mexican street cred all the time. I'm trying. Like I wear hoop earrings, you know? I light candles for good luck. I try it. I even spent a night in jail one time to really like immerse myself in the culture. It turns out that doesn't make you Mexican, it just makes you a disappointment. That's all it is. I did spend the night in jail once. I got a DWI when I was in college. It's not good. It's really expensive, so I do not recommend college to anybody. Jail is definitely a lot more life lessons learned there, I'll tell you that. No, I always get asked, they're like, well, what part of, like, you know, where's your family from? I'm like, oh, yeah, we're from Texas. We're from that part. They're like, no, where are you from? You know. From. I'm like, oh, sorry, you're right. Tejas. We're from Tejas. Like, if you can't pinpoint exactly where your family's from, people look at you like you just ordered full milk at Starbucks. They're like, oh my god, she's so uncultured. She has no idea. I get asked too, like, do you speak Spanish? I'm like, in my head, fluent. Fluent in Spanish in my head. It's like a novella up here all day, every day. It comes out like, let's skedaddle. Like it's just English. It's not the same. And I wish I could speak Spanish. I really do. Like, I wish I wasn't embarrassed to say, like, tortilla. Like, that's so embarrassing. Ew. I wish that wasn't the case, though. I wish I was fluent. But I'm just a regular old no sabo kid. You know? And if you're not familiar, it means that's somebody who doesn't speak Spanish, but they are crazy with, like, a spicy attitude. That's what that is. I am from Texas, as David mentioned, from San Antonio. Anybody been there, Texas, heard of it? Yeah, we usually can't shut up about it, so I'm sure you have. I'm from Texas, and it's a really cute place. Like, I think it's one of the few places you can go to and tell people you're in your 30s and single, and they immediately start a prayer circle. It's like really cute. It's really cute how they do that there. No, I am single, and dating is interesting. And like anybody who's single, you know it's always weird. Like it's weird, you date somebody, you start like hanging out all the time, you meet their friends, like you start making plans to take trips to CVS to get Plan B, and then like you just stop talking. Just like the relationship ends before it even starts, which is also the slogan for Plan B, you know, it starts out that way. I do Hinge, I do the apps, right? And one time a guy on Hinge actually did ask me if English was my second language, so I guess I give off the vibes. But he later clarified it was actually because I misspelled so many words in such a short amount of time that he just assumed I didn't grow up with the language. I was like, that's fair, I am bilingual. I speak English and disappointing men, you know, that's what I've got going on. No, dating's fun, and people always tell me, I don't want to blame the guys I date. It's not their fault things don't work out. But they definitely don't help the situation, you know what I mean? Like, people will say, like, Jessica, you gotta date the CEO types. The ones who know the difference between affect and effect. Like, those guys, you know? The ones who drive Teslas and can spell Wednesday without saying Wednesday. That's who you should date. And I try, I really do try. I just, like, miss the mark a little bit, you know? Like, I end up dating guys who join the military to help pay for college. And by college, they meant child support. That's what they meant. The ones who will tell me that they got a BMW to later clarify that they didn't mean the vehicle. That's what they call their big Mexican meanie. I'm like, that's not charming. Very charming. The ones who drive like old Honda Civics where the hood of the car is a different color than the rest of the car, that's like me in the passenger seat. That's who I go after. And it's just because I see the potential in people. I like to see the positive, you know, I'm optimistic about them, right? Like you can say, Jessica, he's a bad communicator. And I'm like, no, he's just the strong and silent type, okay? You don't know him. Like, he's a writer. I'm like, no, he's a creative writer. I just was like reading a different story. And I'll say like, oh, he's got 5 girlfriends, Jessica, come on. And I'm like, so he's good with time management and like, you know, he can handle his time, I guess. I don't know. Like, that's a 5-star recruit, babe. You just don't know how the military works. That's not your fault. It's not your fault. No, I really do try to find guys. It just doesn't work out for me all the time. And if you're familiar with Mexican math, by the time you're in your 30s, people have questions. They're like, you should be living a dream. Like, stop living life so great and start regretting it. You know what I mean? Like you should have a husband by now, 6 kids, 2 baby daddies, an EBT card, and like a house where you leave the Christmas lights up while you're around. Like that's the dream you should be living right now, and you're not. So I'm trying though. The BMWs just aren't what they used to be. You know what I mean? It's not the same. Let's see. I'm getting older. I'm not old by any means, but I am getting older. And I noticed it in little things, like walking down the stairs. I didn't realize my ankles would make such like a symphony of noise every time I walked down the stairs. It's just like a song of future surgeries I'm gonna have to have. It's not ideal. Or like even embarrassing enough, I went out with friends and we were like dancing, and I was like, oh, I'm like feeling cute, I'm gonna like, you know, drop it to the floor, which is obviously something a 30-something would say. And I noticed that I could only go down to here, like I was checking what's in the oven. I was like, that's not cute. It's not a cute way to go. I think the only good thing about getting older is if you're lucky enough, your parents become like your best friends. Which is nice, you know? Well, I guess less your best friend and more like that friend you don't see often. So you call and you're like, hey, we should hang out. And then 10 minutes in, you're like, ooh, I remember, why we did not hang out. Like that kind of friend for you. Now, my mom, the older I've gotten, the closer I've gotten to her, and I've got a lot of respect for her, you know what I mean? She raised me and my 3 older siblings by herself. She's a single mom, right? We didn't have a deadbeat dad. He was just like dead, so it wasn't his fault. You know what I mean? He couldn't help it. But she did. She raised us. She got us through high school, through college. Between the 4 of us, there's 6 master's degrees, which is super impressive for my siblings who each have 2 master's degrees. I have accolades from TikTok University. That's where I collect my degrees. Now, I have a lot of respect for her. I think the older I get, though, I realize that she does not have the answers for everything. Like the other day, we were talking, and I was telling her about Sacramento and how that's the capital of California. And she was like, no, it's not. I was like, yeah, it is. She's like, no, the capital is in the center of the state. I was like, that's not how geography works. I was like, that's so sweet. You really did grow up in Texas. That's that education for you. That's what we got. Let's see. I'm also, if you couldn't tell by all the things I've just said, I'm in therapy right now, which is fun. It's really great. It took me a while to find a therapist I liked, because the first one I had, everything I said to her, everything, she was like, oh, that's tough. I'm like, yeah, dude. Thank you for the obvious. single. So is Tracy Ellis Ross, and she has a great life. My babe, she's Tracy Ellis Ross, dude. Like, we were dealt a very different deck of cards. I get what you're saying, but all I'm hearing is that money does in fact buy you happiness. That's all I got from that. The one I have now, she's cool. I just think she forgets she's being paid to do a job when we talk. Like, she'll come into our conversations and she's like, ugh, Jessica, I am so annoyed today. I'm like, oh, you first, dude. You first. I was first last week. You're right. Take turns. You go first. Let's hear it. And she'll start complaining about her patients. I'm like, I'm glad I'm paying for this. This is amazing. I don't think that's what, like, Kaiser is signing off on, but, like, let's do it, girl. Let's go. It's fun to shoot the shit. It's just two girlfriends, just chatting, just shooting the shit, you know? But I was in a sorority in college, so I'm used to paying for my friends. So it honestly feels like a very natural thing for me. I love it. I'm into it. I'll leave you with this. I think more women should be accepting of dick pics from guys. And hear me out. Because nothing makes you feel more, like, get in the mood, more just, like, powerful, womanly, than getting one from a guy and leaving him on red. Oh my god. That's the best. That's the way to do it.